Hello everybody, today I'm going to give my presentation about the Chinese culture, how it affects the Chinese students' behave in the class. Last quarter I took a business law class. I do not like the part of grading criteria. We needed to talk or share our opinion in class in order to get some extra credit. As a Chinese international student, I felt very uncomfortable to talk in front of people. It reminds me the culture's impact on communication. According to a 2011 study published in Education Psychology, Chinese students portrayed as a passive learner. We will talk about the reason of Chinese students interact with Asian students more than American students. We will look at the higher expectation of grading from their own or their parents. Last but not least, we would see why wouldn't Chinese students ask any question in class. I got three main points of it. The first one is the reason of Chinese students more likely to interact with Asian students than American students. A 2012 study published in Journal of Counseling Psychology, it states that Chinese students feel less social comfort around American students. Also, similar interests and language barrier are one of the reasons that Chinese students have a tendency to hang out with other Asians. Most of the Chinese students in American college are experiencing language barrier due to short stay in the US. For example, Chinese students don't know much about the American football. They can't talk to American students about the game last night. Therefore, they would just hang out with other Chinese and Asian students who share the similar interest and language. The second main point is you may wonder how the Chinese students having the higher expectation on grading. They want to get into a high reputation college. In Chinese culture, if they get into a high ranking college, they will be successful in our career. Chinese parents also think graduating from a good college would honor our family. So that Chinese parents are very sensitive to academic expectations. If Chinese students get a 3.7, which is very good score already, their parents would ask, why didn't get a 4.0? The last main point is Chinese students didn't often ask questions or giving their comments in class. Chinese students growing up have been treated not asking questions due to the culture of respecting elderly. Even something doesn't make sense, Chinese students won't ask questions. It is not like they don't recognize the question. They just don't want to challenge the people who are older than them. Chinese students want to prevent awkward moments like what I said earlier. Language barrier would discourage them to ask a question. They don't want to show the people in the class that they are not group of them. Even they don't understand, they would rather wait after class to ask that question. In the conclusion, we talked about the social comfort and the similar interest and language to make the tendency of Chinese students group together, higher grade expectation values from Chinese cultures, families, and how the grow up environment and personal issue make Chinese students less question or comments in class. Chinese culture is making influence to the way Chinese international students act in class. Now, you know why Chinese students seems more passive than American students. Hopefully, you will feel more comfortable to work with Chinese students. Thanks everybody for listening to my speech.